Hello everybody, happy Monday. We are going live today with Michali, and we are going to be answering a question that was actually posed to me on the AMAs. So I checked out the forums, everything was pretty much responded to, and we are going to take a fresh question that somebody just asked, which is something I think we did not yet address, on a live at least. So I'm just going to wait for somebody to show up. Thank you for joining. KJ, I'm not going to even attempt to pronounce that, and beat stress at work. Cool, that's a cute name. We're just going to wait for Michali to join. Hello Michali, let me add you. Okay, I think I just invited you. Now I see you. Okay.
Hey.
Hey, how are ya?
Good. How are you doing?
Okay, good. More rested this week than last. Thank God.
Yay for sleep. How healing is sleep?
Oh my goodness, it's like the number one. If I had to choose like just one thing that I need to stay like live, it would be sleep.
Yeah. I would choose water also.
Yeah, water's definitely up there. Water's definitely up there. Yeah. I guess don't make me choose one thing. I need food also.
Yeah.
I need good
While
people.
we're out of chocolate, there's a lot of things that we absolutely need to survive.
Yeah.
Chocolate is definitely one of them.
Chocolate is right here. Literally, I have like a piece of chocolate right here and a tea. So yeah, there's a lot of things I
There
need.
you go.
Anyways, today's question is, I'm going crazy making decisions. It used to be a small issue. Now it's escalating daily. And then she went on to explain how her mind freezes when she has to make a decision. Sometimes she makes it by force. Sometimes people make it for her. But once the decision is made, she gets back to herself. But what to do, how to overcome this, right? And I think it's a really good question. I think it's something that a lot of us struggle with. And at different times in our life, I think it's one of those things that stress can make that worse, right? Like when we're under a lot of stress, we can struggle with very easy, basic decisions. And when we're doing better overall on a daily basis, decisions can come more easily to us. So you want to hit it first?
Sure. I think, I'm going to just kind of repeat myself here and say that every person's reason for struggling is different. So I don't know who this person is individually, and I don't know what got them to this point where decisions can be so difficult for them. So I just want to put that out there. But one of the things that comes to mind is usually it's the pressure that we put on ourselves to make a decision rather than the decision making itself. That is the issue. And I think the more we tease apart those two concepts, the better we're able to actually make decisions, because we actually, I really do believe that we all have strong, wise core intuition. And that is something that is felt. And then in addition to that, if someone were to ask you a stream of questions in regards to what your goals are, what your values are, what is realistic for you, I think that most people would be able to answer those questions with maybe some mild hand-holding if needed, even without going to people in our lives and saying, hey, what do you think I should do? Right? So I think that I really do believe that we have answers inside of us, and we have the knowledge and wisdom in our minds, and that it's really about pushing away the pressure. Now, there are a couple of reasons why we might feel pressured. Sometimes it's a time sensitivity. Sometimes it's other people are creating pressure. Sometimes we feel like we're just put on the spot, right? So getting comfortable, and this is kind of now get into another subtopic of this, which is assertiveness, right? Where we claim ownership over our boundaries while respecting other people's boundaries. There are things that we can say to ourselves or to other people just to create that space, and having that space will decrease that pressure. So I think things like, you know what, that's a great question. I'd love to make a decision. I'm going to need some time to think about it. Or I'm going to get back to you. How about we touch base at the end of this week at 11 o'clock? Does 11 o'clock work for you?
I love it.
Or saying, I'm confused. I need more time. And anyone that puts me down for saying what I need is not someone that I'm going to ever ask to help me make a decision, and B, someone that I might want to like reevaluate if I want them in my actual inner circle in life. So those are just, they're different phrases that we can say either to those people or to ourselves, right? Same thing if we say to ourselves, oh my gosh, Michali, you have to make a decision now. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Right?
Yeah, that creates tons of
Michali, yeah, girl, you got this. Take all the time you need. You're going to figure this out. You know what you believe in. You know what your goals are. You know what you want. Let's just take this one step at a time. Take all the time you need. Let's look at your calendar, and you can have a meeting with yourself in a week from now, you know, to see how you're doing.
I'm
that
wondering,
kind of thing.
I love everything you're saying. I'm like, I love those words. Like, I think I made a post about it like months ago. I need to think about it. Like those 6 words, how they can bring you so much relief, whether you say them to yourself and or to others. Like, I think they're so empowering. I'm wondering, it sounds like from this questioner that it's become like every tiny decision and things that might need to be made in the moment, right? Like, what should you give your kid for lunch, or what should you have to eat, or something like that. So I'm not saying everything you said doesn't apply there, but I'm curious, like, I think that
practically,
like practically speaking, I feel like sometimes you need to make a decision in the spur of the moment, and like being okay with like there's no right or wrong necessarily. You just have to choose, and you choose, and once you choose, that's like you did the hardest part. You made a decision. And it just reminded me something else. Like with every decision, I think the word decision comes from like to cut away. I think in Latin, like there's some like word in there that means to cut. So every time you make a decision, you're like cutting away. You're losing something else. You're losing another possibility. But to be okay with that, like recognizing that that's like such a normal, healthy part of life. And something I like to remind myself also is like there's always an exit strategy. So you can always like go back. Or you always have a second chance. Like, okay, you can't, there's not, like, if you eat something and you don't want to eat that, then, like, you could stop eating it and you could choose something else. Or you could say, next time I'll choose something else. Or you could, you know, choose.
It's never fatal.
Yeah, it's never fatal. Like or if you choose a job, you could leave the job. Like, you could either always have an exit strategy or change your mind or have a second chance. Like, things are not, like, life or death. Like, your life is not over. And that can give you the strength to, like, face this trigger, which seems to be that this person has a trigger now that anytime any decision is presented to them, they freeze. So realize that it's not the decision. It's not what should I wear or what should I eat. It's about the concept of that making a decision now causes you a trigger. And now you just need to face that by exposure, by choosing versus like, you know, going through the whole process of like, what do I do? What, you know, like giving into almost like feeding the anxiety might be to say like, give myself a week to think about it. Perhaps again, we don't know the details, right? Like,
I love what you said, and I couldn't agree more that another reason why we might struggle with decision making is this fear that we're going to be trapped, and that whatever decision we make, it's final, it's forever, and we're not going to have any escape. And the truth is that there are very few decisions that are like that. Even like something as big as marriage. Like, I mean, I'm definitely, I'm not a proponent of just like divorce when just things like are not, you know, amazing. Right. But like, I mean, I am a proponent for divorce in other circumstances, but like abuse, but like, even in a marriage, there's such a thing called divorce, right?
Exactly. Like for the big decisions, there's an exit strategy. For the little decisions, you get a second chance.
So, but I think that like when it comes to like life decisions, like whether it's taking a job or how to spend a weekend or where to go on vacation, like those kinds of decisions or who to consult with, there always are options and there always is a way out. Now, in terms of like the question you asked in terms of like, okay, what do you do practically? So I would first like just label like, what kind of decision is this? Is this choosing a color for a manicure? Is this choosing what to eat for lunch, where there is like something that's more optimal nutritionally versus less optimal? Is this how to spend my time? Is this something that involves a commitment, right? I would probably like label the significance of the decision, like 1 through 5 kind of thing. And then just kind of to like orient my brain, like, okay, where is this? If this is like what manicure color to choose from, it happens to be personally, I suck at level 1 decisions. Like choosing a color is torture for me, but major life decisions I'm really good at. So everyone is different. Everyone's skill set is different.
That's such a good point. Like label, like where are you struggling? Maybe in all of them, but typically we struggle. Like you might be struggling really in one, like you said, like either
Yeah.
really the basic stuff or like the major stuff.
Yeah. And so when it comes to like the side of the spectrum, like a level 1 or 2,
Mm-hmm.
those are the kinds of things that you give yourself like a time frame.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because usually the best thing you can do to deal with anxiety is to act, is to confront the
Mm-hmm.
anxiety. So when it comes to the color of the manicure, blue or purple, I can let myself hem and haw for 5 minutes. And then usually something outside of me gives me that pressure of like, hey, Michali, like it's your time, you know, or
We're
the
up to
lady is like
polish.
waiting. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I grab it. And then here's the important part.
Mm-hmm.
Once I grab the color, let's say it's blue, because blue is my favorite. Let's say it's blue.
Mm-hmm.
Then I don't let myself think about it.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't look back,
Mm-hmm.
because if you start to agonize over it, then what you're doing to yourself is you're creating this association in your brain
Mm-hmm.
where decision equals agony.
Pain,
And
right.
you don't want to create that association. So
Mm-hmm.
once you act, you let it go, and
Mm-hmm.
you can always tell yourself, I get another opportunity at this next
Mm-hmm.
week or
Exactly.
in a month, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those are for like level 1s and 2s. Now, when you get to like level 4 or 5, it's like they're more intense
Mm-hmm.
or decisions that have a higher impact.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a few things. One is to like write down things that you know for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So what I know for sure are my values. What I know for sure are things I'm good at. What I know for sure are things that I'm not great at. What
Mm-hmm.
I know for sure is my inner circle. And this is the other piece. Your inner circle consists of 3 to 5 people that A, you trust. They
Mm-hmm.
want the best for you. B, they have knowledge and wisdom with things that you need their expertise with.
Mm-hmm.
And C, you trust them to help you make good decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Again, and then I just want to emphasize, it doesn't mean that what they say you have to run with, but you're
Mm-hmm.
going to want to consult with people in your inner circle, and you're going to want to choose wisely.
Mm-hmm.
So there's what I know for sure, my inner circle. You put those two things together, you sprinkle in some time, and then you've got your decision.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's
You
really,
let that,
really
what?
cool formula. I love that. I
Thank
love that.
you. Thank you. I don't like cooking, but there's a great recipe. And when I say sprinkle in some time, not months and months and months and months,
Mm-hmm.
but enough time that when you sit with that decision, it
Mm-hmm.
feels like, okay, I think I've got this. I think
Yeah.
I can picture it. And that's the last thing I'm gonna say is you want to really picture everything. What am I wearing? What
Mm-hmm.
does my environment look like? What is it gonna feel like step by step? Let's say it's for a job. Walking into that office, dealing with that person every day, holding my coffee or my tea, right? Like the more details you add to your imagining, the better. And then when you allow yourself to imagine and you're sitting in that decision,
Mm-hmm.
then if consistently you feel mostly at peace, it doesn't have to be 100%, but mostly at peace,
Mm-hmm.
then there you go. And then after the fact, if you start to panic, you can remind yourself you're not trapped. You always have options.
Love
So
it.
that's kind of how I
Love
would deal with it practically.
I love it. I think we like attacked this from all angles. I really like this was helpful to me, and I think I'm sure it was helpful because to this questioner and other people because we like kind of addressed every single type of decision making issue. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think
Yeah.
like you said also like the concept of giving yourself a time limit, whether it's the 5 minutes or 5 days or 5 weeks, even if it's a massive life decision, that's okay. But like
Yeah.
there's a different like formula for each.
Yeah.
And
And one last thing I'm saying for me personally, the way that I make decisions is I usually just ask myself 2 questions:
mm-hmm.
is this right,
Mm-hmm.
and is this healthy?
Mm.
You know, and I let that be my guide. And if
That's
I don't know, I ask people who I really trust know what
Mhm.
is right and know what is healthy. And
I
that's it.
love that. But so I feel like the right question that would trip me up because like not everything is right or wrong. So like, is it
Right.
right?
So manicure, there
I'm
really
sorry.
isn't right or wrong for a manicure color, you know?
Okay, okay. But you reminded me of a question I used to ask myself, and I do sometimes, which really helps. And it's if I truly and fully love myself, what would I do? And I feel like that does the
Love
scary work
that.
because
Yeah.
when you are in that place that you could get, even if in that moment you don't feel full of love for yourself, but if you could put yourself in that space of like, if I truly and fully love myself, what would I do? Like the answer is always there. It's usually the thing you didn't want to choose, but it's
Right.
there. You know, like
Yeah.
it's
I
there.
love that. I
So yeah,
love that.
I
Love
got
that. Love
the
that.
book. The book is Kamel now Ravikant, I think. Love Yourself Like Your Life Depends on It. Really good book. Recommend it.
Ooh, oh, I was just at Barnes and Noble. Okay.
Oh, Amazon, your best friend.
That is my best,
Or
other than
Audible.
you say.
Okay, okay. Well, I'll
Say
take that one too.
Amazon. It's a hard call. Decisions. Um,
Alrighty, thank you so much, Michali. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. This was amazing. This was helpful for me. Now I could go and decide what to have for lunch with this newfound clarity.
I
Anyways,
wish you success and calm and inner peace in
thank you
making your
so much.
choice.
Thank you,
All
everyone, for
right.
and thanks, Michali, as usual. See
My
you next week.
pleasure.
Take care.
See you next week.
Bye bye.
Bye.